and that's creating a resilient economy and finance systems. Because the old model of global value chains was depending on shipping and depending on being a consumer and producer, and where you're separating all, is unsustainable, and it creates local communities become vulnerable. If suddenly supply chains break down or there's things happening. So I think a program with research, development, learning, training around social entrepreneurship. How do you go from individual to create a social enterprise that both is creating profits but also creating good in societies. Looking at the creative industries and looking at the underground, saying so what is happening in the underground, and how can you make a living based on your talents as a DJ, as a creative person. Going from looking at the manufacturing of the production processes. So one of the big trends in the world now is what I call social production, which means that you can tap into a global pool of intelligence. It might be fashion designers, and then have micro factories. For example, in the young, that can produce global brands locally. So instead of buying Prada or Gucci and getting shipped to the stores here, they're actually produced in the young in micro factories. So having a social production in every single industry would create a more resilient economy, and being the center of excellence for that, not only creating the infrastructure, the policies, and the practices in the young, but also being the center of excellence to coach and teach the world about it. Would be what I would like to do. It's a virtuous circle. I mean, once you remove the barrier between producer consumer, for example, you become part of the system. All of everyone is part of the system, and then it becomes a learning mechanisms where the consumer is not just somebody who just buys, but he also learns about how things work, and suddenly he becomes empowered to be part of creating stuff, right? So that will change the power structures in the whole system, and more towards people, which means that everyone will be empowered to do something. So it is a social vision that's behind ethical economy, but it's also an empirical based economy, meaning that this is what is happening, this is where the world is going, and we have the golden opportunity now to make it a reality, because as I said in the speech, there are obviously forces that have vested interest in the existing system that will want to somehow fight this development. But if we can implement it quicker and accelerate this development, it will be the reality tomorrow.